Hi everyone.
G'day.
Welcome to Parkside Live. We are so happy that you are joining us. We had a bit of a technical hitch just before, which is why we're laughing. But we are thankful that it's all sorted now and that you can join us for our chat about being pumped up and poured out.
Yes. Yeah, well, I was on a drive with my brother and his wife, actually, and we were driving through the bush. And for those of you who don't live in Australia, that's a place where there's not many towns, there's not much population, there's a lot of trees and less kangaroos, sadly. And we were coming up to night, and so I took the driving shift. It was my brother's car, but I took the driving shift. And it was about 7 o'clock at night, and we drove into a town. And as we drove into a town, I looked at the fuel gauge, and it was sitting on about, I think, maybe about halfway. And there was a service station in the town. And so I said to my brother, "Oh, do we need to fill up?" And he goes, "Oh, we should be right." And so we drove past this service station and kept driving. And we were driving into the night and into the darkness, just the headlights on the road in front of us. I don't remember another car coming another way. And we're driving and the kilometres are clicking over. But the fuel gauge isn't moving. And so it was about the middle of the night, and I said to my brother, "Does the fuel gauge on this thing work?"
Oh, no.
And he says, "We're about to find out, aren't we?" And so as we're driving, I saw this sign that said fuel. And so we turned off the main road, which was sealed, and onto this dirt road, so you could hear the gravel crunching the wheels. There was grass and trees either side, and it was the kind of experience where I wasn't really sure where I was going. He didn't know where we were going. His wife didn't know where we were going. And so it was a bit of a relief to finally see this fuel pump in the middle of nowhere. The fuel pump was padlocked shut, and there was a number to call. We called the number, no response. And so I decided there's nothing we can do, just go back to the main road and keep driving. And so we got back onto the main road and just kept driving. And as we drove, the car just then jerked forward, and then I turned it off and we rolled over to the stop, and just in the middle of nowhere spent this night huddled up in this badly insulated four-wheel drive. I think one of my famous lines was, because my brother's wife offered me a blanket, and I said, "No, I'll be right." And I think my chattering teeth kept everyone up. And when we woke in the morning, there was ice on the inside of the windscreen. Like, it was cold, all because we ran out of fuel. And I think while we are not machines, as human beings, we have energy levels. We have moments where we feel like we're running on empty, and sometimes when we run out of energy, the consequences can be disastrous. That people just go off the rails. They make bad decisions. Sometimes a job which they may once have felt energy and passion for, they run out of the ability and become completely disenchanted with that and just move on. And that's a dangerous time for us as human beings. I don't know if you've ever felt like you've just run out of fuel.
I think probably quite a few times I've felt like this, especially as a parent, and when I was being a mum of 4 kids, but especially when we have twins. And so we had 2 newborns, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And so quite often I think I felt like I had just run out of fuel because I was living on no sleep.
And, you're crazy. It was crazy.
It was really hard. And I think even now, if I don't get enough rest or recharge, then it's not just the feeling of, I have no energy. I can feel that I can potentially turn into a horrible person. I'm not as kind a mum, if I'm running on empty. I'm probably, not as, awesome a wife if I'm running on empty. I'm maybe not as good a friend because I don't have anything to give because I'm just done.
You make some really good points. When we reach the end of ourselves, we're certainly not our best self in that moment. And it may be like that. I think that's a pretty complete example, actually, because you've got, like, I know you like your space and and when you're a mum with 4 little kids, there's no space. It's just mum. And then but physical, like that is, it's certainly not a trivial example. And as you're watching this, you may be able to relate, maybe not to the motherhood, but perhaps you've felt in a work situation, you've gotten to a point where a path that you embarked on with energy, you're now thinking, what was I thinking? This is just totally wrong. Perhaps there's a relationship that you've stepped into full of hope and joy and laughs, and now you're thinking, I'm out. Like, I can't do it anymore. We find ourselves in lots of circumstances like that. And it doesn't actually matter what you believe. There are times when we feel like this is the end. If I had any fuel, it's just being poured out onto the ground. And how do we handle that? And really, what difference does it make what you believe in those moments? And as you're watching this, you may be a person who believes there's no God. You may believe there's a God, but when we run out of fuel, when we are not pumped up but actually flat, how do we respond? And we're going to draw inspiration from an example of someone who's gone before. And this person wrote this letter, and they were imprisoned at the time. They had been thrown in prison. And when you look at what they endured, there's a list, and this probably wasn't the first time they'd been imprisoned. They'd been actually assaulted. They'd been left for dead. They'd been a traveller and shipwrecked. And this letter is written to someone, the next generation. It's written to someone from the next generation and saying, hey, there's a job to do. I want you to do it. And as this person's commissioning the next generation, he makes his statement. And so we're just reading here from 2 Timothy chapter 4. And the author, a man called Paul, writes this: as for me, my life has already been poured out as an offering to God. The time of my death is near. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have remained faithful. And now the prize awaits me. And we'll get to that. But here's someone who obviously has been through a bit in their life, and they are looking back. And as you're watching this, you may be a person who already has entered that stage of your life where you are reflecting on the life that you have lived. My dad is in his 80s, and when you get to that stage, psychologists will tell us that we reflect on our lives and we're looking for one of two things. Have I given something that endures beyond me, or has my life been stagnant? Have I not done anything? And so we reflect and we're actively looking. For some of us, you're thinking, Brett, I don't know what you're talking about. That's a long way away. I've got a lot of life left to live in front of me. And yet we can look at today, and maybe today I'm feeling empty. Or today I'm looking at the challenge that lies ahead of me. How am I going to face that? And these words talk about someone who says there is a fight ahead of us, that there is a race to be run, and that there is something, a cause to be kept faithful to. And what we see here is this idea that, and he uses an example here. His life has been poured out as an offering, and there was a custom at the time when people would take something. Often it was wine or grape juice, whatever they had at the time. Even if it was alcoholic, which it probably was, I think it was very different to what you might buy today. Yeah. And then they filled a glass and literally tipped it out. Now, I've still got tea in this, so I'm not, but they tipped it out. And if you've ever felt out of fuel, like your pregnancy example, like me driving the car, you know what it's like to be quite literally poured out. Yeah. But then the question that confronts us as human beings is, how do I respond? I mean, you gave a few clues there when you were tired in that moment of mothering. Like, how do you feel you responded?
Well, for me, I knew, if I got depleted, didn't get any sleep, or just, it's not even if, as a new mother, anyone who may be a parent, who knows, when you've got to get up to a child's cries in the night, I had 2 babies, like I said, and a 1-year-old. There are things you just have to keep doing.
Yeah.
But my response could either be, I let that tiredness influence how I behave. So then react to, then during the day I would react to the girls maybe being horrible or going, I'm not going to talk to you, or, something like that. Or instead go, I need to somehow find the strength and energy to do this and do it still with joy. And for me, that my faith in God is what was, I guess, the filling and the strengthening in the way that I could respond and deal with the depletion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm going to broadly say that I think perhaps when we get to this point, for most of us, we would tend to lean either towards stopping.
Yeah.
This is hard. I've got nothing left, so this is as far as I go. Or there are others of us who just double down.
Yeah.
This is hard. I've got nothing left. I'm going to make myself keep going.
Well, and I guess some of that is it, when it's like I haven't had any sleep and it's 2:00 in the morning and there's that cry again, I need to go and feed the babies and do that. You just have to.
Yeah.
It's just, I just have to do it.
Oh, and I'll tell you, instinctively, I feel my response is to grit the teeth. Here I am, I'm confronted with this situation, I've got nothing left. A lot of my life I've been involved in physical activity, and so there are many times when I will be working and I think I'm done here. Like, I'm not enjoying this at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm standing in a hole, the water's flooding down, don't want to do it. And yet I go, okay, I've got nothing left. The job's not done. I've got to keep going. So you just repress. And that's good in certain situations, but it doesn't lead me, I think, to a meaningful life if my natural response to life is just to grit my teeth and force my next step. It doesn't work. And I think too, it's good to recognize when we need to stop and rest. I think that's good. And if you're into self-help, people will say one of those two things, either if you want to achieve greatness, you just got to grit your teeth and find it within yourselves and move forward. Or there are other people who say, no, when it gets hard, you've self-care, you've got to look after yourself. And I say that a bit tongue-in-cheek, but both of those things, I think, are appropriate in our lives. But what this writer says here, his life has been poured out, and that custom that I talked about a cup being filled and then poured out, there was actually a ritual, a part of his day, where as a community they would gather, and in the morning, on behalf of the community, someone would pause and give an offering, quite literally find an animal and barbecue it. Yeah. And that would happen in the morning, but then in sunrise, the same thing would happen, but accompanying the barbecue of the animal, there would be the pouring out. Now, the issue is, I can only pour out what's in the cup.
Yeah. Once it's empty.
For the next day, I've got to get refilled again.
Yeah.
And the picture that we have here is someone's life who says, I'm giving this everything I have. Quite literally, I'm now empty because I've been poured up. But their solution is not to then stop. Their solution is not to grit their teeth, but their solution here is to find a source that fills them, finds a source that pumps them. And if you are exploring what it means to live life, I want to tell you that the life of Jesus, there are difficult times, and it may feel like you need to persevere through difficulty. There are times when you need to pause. But as a daily experience, the returning to Jesus and saying, the life that you gave me, I need more of that. People will talk about encountering God each day to re-strengthen, so that for tomorrow you can fight the fight that needs to be fought. For tomorrow you can run the race that is marked out before you, so that at the end of the day, you can look back and say, today I kept the faith. And the beauty of the Jesus life is that it is a fresh beginning. That picture that we have of this ritual occurring each morning and evening points us to a greater reality that each day we can begin fresh because of who God is. And that means a fresh beginning. It means that in my moments of failure, I can turn away and step forward in the strength that God gives me. It means that in my moments of victory, I can acknowledge that it's God who's given me the strength, and then step up to a greater challenge the next day, because my life is being poured out for a purpose that is greater than me. And when we talk about being pumped up and then being poured out, that's supposed to be the practice of the Jesus life, that we are re-energized to then share with others. And you may be facing a personal challenge right now, and you need fresh energy for that. And I want to tell you that part of the energy you need is actually in the middle of your moment to find someone else to serve. You may be serving a community already, and you need fresh energy to take the next step, perhaps even the first step. And the way of Jesus is to go again. And whether it is a situation you find yourself in, to say, I'm going to give this everything I have. This fight that I have, I am going to fight it well. This race that is marked out for me, I'm going to run it well in the power and the strength of Jesus. And we want to invite you that to share in this life that involves being pumped up with the life that comes from the Creator of the universe, in order so that you can then pour that life out into others, so that they too can experience the life of the Creator of the universe. And if that's an experience that you want, then we're going to invite you to pray, as we so often do, a simple prayer that just says, Jesus, I'm giving you my life. And in that statement, you may be saying, I'm coming to you with all my limitations, because you're someone who is very well aware of your own limitations in this moment. You may be someone who's coming in and saying, Jesus, I give you my life, all my abilities, all my strengths, because I want to contribute to something greater than me. And Jesus will meet you in both of those moments. And so we simply say, Jesus, I give you my life. Give me your life. Pump me up so that I can pour myself out for your cause. And if that's something you're ready to do, then pray with us now. Jesus, I give you my life. Give me your life. Jesus, I give you my life. Give me your life. And if that's a decision that you've made as you've watched this, we would love to hear from you. If you're watching this on YouTube, drop us a comment, and we'd love to support you on whatever the next step is. If you're watching this on other channels, drop us a DM. And if you're coming through Southwest Sydney, we'd love to see you join us at this table as we explore what following Jesus looks like with friends. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.